Well, it's that time of year again. It's time to start some seeds indoors. I'm going to be starting some tomato plants that I'll be growing this year. And I thought I'd make this video for those who may have never tried growing indoors before, or maybe beginning gardeners. I know my niece and her husband are just getting into gardening and they really enjoy it, but you know, there's a few things that they've never tried before, and this is probably one of them. But anyway, I'm starting out with this kit I got at Walmart for a little less than $5 before tax. And then I have this seed starting mix I also got at Walmart, a little less than $5. I've already used some of it. But the first thing I'll do is fill up each of these containers with the seed starting mix. Then we'll go from there. I like to try to find a seed starting mix that is real light and fluffy like this one, and then instead of pouring it into the pots, I'll just take each individual pot and dip it out like that. It's already full. Then I'll just repeat that process 18 times till I have them all full. Okay, now that I have the seed starting mix in every pot, I'll take this inside and wet them down. I just use a sprayer at the kitchen sink and I wet them all down. And after I think I've got them thoroughly wet, I give them a while to soak it in. Then I come back and check it. After they've set for 10 or 15 minutes, as you can see, some of them have settled. If it settles too much, you can add more potting mix if you want. But just to make sure, I'm going to water these a little bit more, and it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of water in the tray on the first watering because it'll be soaked up from the bottom. But I'm going to add just a little bit more water to these. Okay, once you have your seed starting mix thoroughly moist, it's time to plant some seeds. And an easy way to do that is just use a pencil and make a couple of holes. I made them about 1/4 inch deep, planting tomato seeds. And I plant 2 seeds in each pot. The reason I plant 2 is because I want to make sure at least one comes up. If both of them come up, I'll just pull one of them. If I just planted one seed and it didn't come up, by the time I gave up on it and replanted, it would be a week or more behind the other plants. So that's the reason I plant 2 seeds. Then once you have your seeds planted, you need to either make a chart or mark each one so you know what's in that pot. That tomato is an indigo rose. That's all there is to that. Once you have all your seeds planted and labeled, then you just wait for them to germinate. They sell heat mats that can go below the tray, and those work great. I don't have one, but I know they do work well. I've seen them for sale in different places. But if you don't want to invest in one of those, you can just put it on top of your refrigerator. That's usually one of the best places in a home to keep your seeds warm while they germinate. I also have like a tall antique china cabinet that I keep mine on. But once they germinate, they're ready to be placed in a south-facing window or under a grow light. Now we wait. Well, after 6 days, we have our first sprouts. And at this point, I put them under the grow light And I like to have the light close, like so. And then as the plants grow, I raise the light, keeping it close, but not where it's touching. And then we just let them grow for a few weeks. Well, it's been about a week since they first started to sprout, and I think all of them have come up that are going to. We got close to 100% germination rate. We have one here that is just a stem with no leaves. I'm not sure what's going on there. And this one only had one came up, but now what I do is I choose which is the best of the two, and I pull the other one. This smaller one is going to go. Then after I get them all thinned down to one per pot, we just keep them under the grow light for about 12 to 14 hours. That's what I do anyway. And we watch them grow. Just make sure to water them when needed. After your seedlings are a couple of weeks old, it's time to start working on hardening them. When you harden a plant, it's basically just getting it used to being outside. In here they aren't exposed to direct sunlight or the wind or temperature changes. It's all pretty easy in here. So when you start hardening them, just put them, well, there's no exact formula for it, but I like to put them out for 30 to 45 minutes the first day just to see how they react. And on the first few days, put them out in a shady location where they aren't exposed to direct sunlight, and try to keep them out of the wind. Just take it a little bit easy. And then after a few days, if they look like they're doing okay, then you can step up the time, put them out in the sunlight a little bit. But the key is to do it gradually. You know, don't just throw them outside for 4 hours and see what happens, because you might be disappointed. But one thing to look for when you're putting them outside is I wouldn't leave them for a long period without checking on them, because seed starting mix can dry out very quickly. So if it's a windy day, they can dry out in a couple hours and start getting stressed, so you might keep an eye on that. But what I like to shoot for before I put them outside is to have them harden to where they can withstand about a half day, 4 or 5 hours out in the yard. And once you get up to that point, if they're standing that pretty well without any stress, then they should be good to go.